This is KVUE News Night Beat.
Train cars spill off railroad tracks. The big cleanup ahead that could take days.
Fatal crashes in work zones on the rise in Texas. The mistakes drivers make in construction zones that could turn deadly fast.
Don't get caught in the crossfire. Get student body armor.
Have you seen this video? What started as a joke stirs a serious conversation about campus carry at UT. First tonight, moments ago, we learned from Vista Ridge High School that they are investigating a bomb threat made on social media.
Vista Ridge High School's principal says Cedar Park police were dispatched to the person's home, and police say there is no credible threat at this moment.
School will continue as normal tomorrow morning. And it was just over a month ago when a bus carrying dozens of Texans got stuck on the tracks in Mississippi and a train smashed into it, killing 4 and injuring 35 others.
It happens more than you might think. In March, a Crockett High School student was hit by a train. Union Pacific says a train hits a person or a vehicle every 3 hours in the U.S.
So the Night Beat's Tina Shively shows us how Austin police are teaming up with Union Pacific to make our crossings safer.
55 miles an hour may not seem so fast, but a freight train forced to stop at that speed needs more than a mile of track to do so.
I think that they can get out of the way of the moving train in time before they get hit.
Special Agent Alfredo Rodriguez participates in Union Pacific's Crossing Accident Reduction Education and Safety, or UPCARES program. It didn't take long before he spotted someone trespassing near the tracks Wednesday afternoon.
Let me call the agent. There's a student with a maroon shirt, blue jeans, and a black backpack walking south.
This person was cited for trespassing, a Class C misdemeanor with a fine of up to $100. While pedestrians pose part of the problem, drivers often ignore obvious warnings, and that could be deadly.
Okay, we're coming back up to Stasi now.
UPCARES involves collaboration with other agencies.
Any cars crossing right now, y'all can get. The lights are on, y'all can get them. I saw a maroon Dodge, silver SUV going east.
APD was on board with a bird's eye view to spot misbehaving motorists.
They want to make it, floor it and try to beat the train, and that's why they make it a violation. When the lights are on and flashing, you still have to stop, even though the arms aren't down. Senior
police officer Jeff Vance radioed to fellow highway patrol officers on the ground. The team gave out nearly a dozen warnings and citations to drivers for everything from talking on their cell phones to failing to stop once they saw the flashing lights.
What they're doing is dangerous and it's illegal.
Rodriguez hopes campaigns like this will remind people that an impending 12 million pound freight train shouldn't be taken lightly.
A lot of times they're rushed, and that's why they take chances. But if they leave with plenty of time to get to their destination, they wouldn't put themselves in danger.
In Austin, Tina Shively, KVUE News Night Beat.
UPCARES began back in 1972. Union Pacific plans to team up with several other unnamed agencies to continue their efforts tomorrow.
And it might be Saturday before tracks reopen in Bertram after a train derailed early this morning. 22 empty rail cars crashed into each other, spilling off the tracks along Highway 29. Capital Metro owns the railroad and says the track is compliant with federal regulations.
There's going to be more police patrolling a North Austin neighborhood. Homeowners in the Wooten area say teens from Burnett Middle School have been damaging property. One neighbor, Greg Barrington, says his yard has been vandalized a handful of times in the past few weeks. His wife says they have damaged their plants, and another neighbor's truck had the paint scratched.
But it's just upsetting what they do to the neighborhood, and people are scared. There's several, like I said, my husband said, older people here, and that's what, they get scared.
Austin police have received 4 vandalism mischief calls from neighbors there in the past week. They encourage everyone in the city to report to them any suspected crime you think is happening in your neighborhood.
Temperatures this evening cooling into the 60s and 70s after high temperatures this afternoon, above average in the mid-80s. Even had a few little pop-up showers mainly east of Austin, but it's a quiet scan on Maxstorm Doppler radar. A lot of moisture though in the air, so watch the hour-by-hour forecast tracking fog. A couple of frogs maybe too for your morning commute, but mainly fog around and east of the interstate before that will burn off as we head into the mid-morning hours. Here's what we're tracking for you. Small chance for a spotty shower tomorrow, windy and even warmer by Friday, but the good news is cooler, drier air just in time for the weekend, including temperatures in the morning time as we wake up Sunday. 40s and 50s. Much more on that coming up.
Loving that forecast. Albert, thank you. An Austin man caught on camera beating a turtle to death with a hammer last June is punished. 56-year-old Terry Wayne Washington will serve 4 years probation for animal cruelty. Under that agreement, Washington may not own a pet for 4 years, must stay 500 yards away from Lady Bird Lake, perform 200 hours of community service, and pay a $200 fine. Washington was fishing on Lady Bird Lake when he reeled in that turtle. He turned himself in a couple of days after this video went viral. If he violates any of the terms of the agreement, he risks having his probation revoked and being sent to prison.
New data released by TxDOT highlighting a troubling trend on state roads. Last year, there were more than 25,000 work zone crashes across the state. With that, a stark increase in the number of fatal wrecks. KVUE's Michael Perchik has the story.
Anybody who's tried to traverse rush hour in Texas can tell you it's no fun. Too many vehicles and in many cases too few lanes. But a new problem beginning to emerge that makes the nuisance of a traffic jam seem minuscule. From 2015 to 2016, the state saw a 27% spike in work zone deadly crashes.
It's disturbing when we see so many different types of crashes inside of work zones. And the crazy part is they're entirely preventable.
Chris Bishop works with TxDOT's Public Information Office. Last year, 181 people in Texas were killed in work zone crashes. 96% of them were motorists, pedestrians, and bicyclists.
People are not just working there next to you, but the pavement might be affected, or the lane you're in might be shifting a bit.
At any given time, TxDOT says there are as many as 2,500 active work zones, and that doesn't include county or city projects. It's an issue that's caught the attention of Blake Garrett, the founder of Aceable, an app-based driver's education program.
Slow down and really pay attention to the signs in the work zone. The #1 cause of accidents in a work zone are rear-end collisions, which usually means the car in front of you's stopping or reacting to an unanticipated hazard.
While some cities, including Austin, have banned texting while driving, it's not illegal statewide. Garrett said cracking down on distracted driving can help prevent crashes.
So whatever we can do to save that text message or phone call until you get home, please do it.
Because sometimes the smallest fixes can make the biggest differences. In Austin, I'm Michael Perchik, KVUE News Nightbeat.
Former President George H.W. Bush is spending another night in the hospital while he recovers from pneumonia. His spokesman says he is improving and in good spirits. Mr. Bush, who is 92, was admitted to Houston Methodist on Friday. It's the second time he's been treated for pneumonia this year.
Tomorrow marks 3 months since President Donald Trump took office, and a new survey shows mixed opinions among Texans. Check out the results of this new Texas Lyceum poll. It asked Texans how well they thought the president is handling his job so far. You can see 19% say very good, but a bigger number, 36%, say he's doing a very poor job, with other responses in between. And a new campaign launched on the border could derail President Trump's timeline for the border wall. Some Texas Civil Rights Project attorneys are offering free representation to hundreds of landowners on the U.S.-Mexico border. The attorneys say landowners don't know they can reject the government's offer for land and request a jury trial. And there's a backlog in the courts for years.
From 2008 even, about 100 of the 300 cases that were filed are still open in court today.
This type of challenge could push the process beyond President Trump's term and send the cost way above the $20-something billion.
Right now, state lawmakers are debating several bills tonight, including the controversial bathroom bill. The Nightbeat's Brandon Jones is live at the state capitol. And Brandon, there was a lot of back and forth on this issue today.
Well, Quita, we're told that the Committee on State Affairs was determined to get to this bill tonight, but they probably will not vote on it. We also learned that Governor Abbott, he tweeted his support on the principles of the Senate and the House to protect privacy in bathrooms. So we want to talk a little bit about the measure of this bill. It will stop cities, counties, and school districts from creating policies and ordinances related to multiple occupancy bathrooms, showers, and changing rooms. We also learned today that State Representative Chris Turner, he sent sent a letter to NFL officials asking them to oppose the bathroom bill. Now, Turner goes on to say, that's Representative Chris Turner, he goes on to say that this measure is directly opposed to the NFL's stated goals of tolerance and inclusiveness and is inconsistent with the league's policies. Earlier today, we attended a news conference with those who oppose the bill.
While we've seen many of these bills before, the elaborate strategy of promoting discrimination in a piecemeal fashion has been refined this session. We shouldn't be surprised.
Gets back to
The state lawmakers also voted on Wednesday to establish statewide regulation of transportation network companies, or better known as TNCs, such as Uber and Lyft. Plus, the House committee initially passed a $1.6 billion school funding plan. Now, that discussion on the bathroom bill, well, it's going to last throughout the night here. We're live at the state capitol. Brandon Jones, KVUE News, Night Beat.